Hey guys, Siobhan from New York. So it's October and I decided I was going to do a series of videos on princess hair for Halloween. This is the first one and it's just two sort of strategically located Dutch braids. And if you don't know how to do a Dutch braid, you can always type it into the YouTube search engine and that'll bring up tons of videos, or you can click here because I'm going to have my video that I did here. Basically a Dutch braid is just a braid that has hair added in from only one side, and they're really cool because they look different when you put them in different places on your head. And you know, you can braid under or you can have the hair coming in from the other side. It looks really cool. I just want to give you guys a little tip. Basically, to get your braid to curve in the right place, you kind of have to hold your hands in the right place. So sometimes when I've seen girls do this when they're braiding, they hold the strands at the very bottom, but it's better to hold them here at the very top. It gives you better control of how you angle the braid, and of course if you want the braid to go in a certain direction, you just move your hands in that direction and it works out usually, most of the time for me. Another thing too is that if I'm doing a braid that's not centered, I'll usually trace along my head with my fingers, like where I want it to go. So like the first one's gonna start here and it's gonna go all the way around like that, kind of like just sort of in a circle. And then the other one's gonna come this way. And sometimes when I do that, it just kind of reminds me of where the hairstyle is actually gonna be on my head. And I find those to be helpful tips. Hope they work out for you. Now I'm going to get on with it. So starting off, I have a comb and I'm not really going to make a part because I kind of know where I'm going to be braiding. But I'm going to make a little part just so you guys can see where I'm starting. Right here. See where my ear is? Kind of where it's like attaching to my head, the top part. That's where I'm going to start. So I'm going to just separate that hair away so you can see, and use like a little clip to get it out of the way. The thing about lace braids is that they usually start off really sort of small, like there's not a lot of thickness to them, but then as you go on with the hairstyle, they get thicker. But for this, we kind of want the braid to be even as it can be the whole way around. So you're only going to add in hair from the very front of your face. I'll show you what I mean. So just add tiny pieces of hair into your braids. See how small they are? They're not, and they're just from the front, like just from my hairline. So there you go, it's starting to take shape. As I go along, like I'll sometimes just like hold the strands for a second and just remind myself of where I want it to go. So I want it to kind of start off at the front of my head and kind of veer off a little bit. It's gonna kind of look like a yin and yang braids, sort of. I tend to like add in tons of hair when I'm doing lace braids, but like if you do these tiny little strands, they keep the braid looking really, really like fine and tiny and small, sort of princessy. So I pretty much added all the hair from the front of my face into the lace braid, as you can see, and I've only pulled hair from my from my hairline, so you can kind of see that too here with the pattern in the front. So I'm gonna keep going with it though because I want it to kind of go past my ear. So what I'm going to do is continue what I was doing, and that is taking a very small bit of hair from my hairline and adding it into the braid. For this you want to use like small, maybe clear elastics, or you could use hair ribbon because that could be really pretty too. It should kind of look something like this right now, where it's sort of curved at an angle over your head. I tend to think that the first braid is pretty easy to create. It's always the second braid that's hard for me. So, should get out any tangles that might be there. And it's gonna make sense to you guys why I parted my hair like right before my ear, because you kind of need this hair to add into the second braid. The second braid, generally somewhere in the center of my head. Now, you want this braid to be somewhat close to this one. So you're gonna not add hair from the back in, you're gonna add hair from the front in. So just imagine that this braid is your hairline. And just take a tiny piece and add it in. Okay, so I pretty much added all the hair here in. So I'm gonna go a little bit further down like I did on the other side, and I'm gonna use hair from sort of the underneath where my hairline is. Okay, so this needs to get pinned back because like it's falling a little bit. But hang on, one more thing before I do the pinnage. Okay, so I went back and I curled my hair. You can, if you don't want to use heat, you can put your hair in, I guess, sponge rollers or Velcro rollers and just wear it overnight. But I used a curling iron, and so this is kind of what it looks like. The second braid you'll find is will probably feel a little bit more secure than the first. So there's the second one. And see how the first one's kind of falling back or kind of pushing to the front? Basically, what I'm going to do is just pull it back and use bobby pins to secure it. That way it's like kind of being held back because you really want all the hair pushed off of your hair. In terms of the braids, I'll show you two different ways. Because I know it probably doesn't feel like it's finished with the braids hanging down the front like this. And for me, mine are uneven because I have layers. So I tried to curl this side and I couldn't really make it work. So I like it better like that, just kind of the side braid, and then just sort of pin, you can pin them under, like at the base of your neck. But yeah, I really like the zigzag. I don't know if you guys can see it. I'm trying to see the zigzag. That's my favorite part of this whole thing. Okay, it's so hot in my bathroom. Whew. Alright, well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will probably be back in the next couple of days with another princessy inspired hairstyle. Alright, bye.